YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Welcome to day 18 of my 30-day live. Now that I'm halfway through, I can honestly say that I started to feel really comfortable. Even on a day such as today, I didn't really over prepare and expect this live to be short, crisp, and trying to pack as much information in as possible. If you're new, if this is day one for you as part of my 30-day live, welcome. And please let me know if you have any questions. I would love for you guys to share your own stories with each other in the comments below, or simply share your stories with me. I would love to find a way to maybe feature you and your content on my website as well. Speaking of website, that's exactly why we're here today. And, first of all, I want to demystify and answer the question. Still today, a lot of people say, "Hey, Faye, do I really need a website?" And the reason is the question for that is very different than the reason from 15, 20 years ago. I remember building my first website using Notepad when I was still in college. And that had a pretty steep learning curve. But today, the technology part is pretty trivial. We all know we got Squarespace, which is my favorite, and where I run Feisworld.com as well as all my clients' websites, and you can make it as sophisticated as you need it to be. But also, there are obviously Weebly, there's Wix, there's there's WordPress, and there are a lot of options. I would say that just quickly on that note, a lot of people say, "Why not WordPress? Faye, why don't you use WordPress, especially if you study computer science?" Well, the good, the truth is I actually used WordPress for a long time, but I decided to ditch that because I want all my effort, as much of it, to focus on content creation as opposed to maintaining a website. It's true that today WordPress also has these WYSIWYG plugins, which makes designing, content publishing really easy. However, given that there's still so many plugins involved for SEO, for everything that you may be doing to customize your site, chances are that you do have to spend effort and some, worries to babysit that, because certain plugins will come into conflict, some are outdated, and some are no longer compatible with your current version of WordPress. So I just took all of that out of the equation and that guessing. So that's why I chose Squarespace. Now, you may be wondering, what is the point of creating a site now that, social media is so in control? Well, a couple of things, right? First of all, as we notice, Instagram, Facebook, I believe, went down a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago as I'm recording this. And that was a really big deal for individuals, for content creators, but also for businesses. When you think of your website, it is a home that you get to control. So when you exclusively publish your content, let's say on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, you do have to adapt and adopt their platform. Any updates, any changes, any downtime, system errors and server errors you have to deal with. But also, you're dealing with their UX and UI design. You don't get to choose how their playlist works. You don't get to choose, what each syntax really means or does. Of course, you're writing the marketplace, which means I love publishing content on YouTube, and I get to really share my content with people from around the world is unimaginable. But I still use my website, and here I want to talk about what ends up happening on the website. It's not that all of a sudden, I let my social media just takes control. That's the only place I publish, but I publish consistently, religiously on Feisworld.com. Here's why. When we talk about owning your content, I often talk about own your content. That means own your platform. Don't rely on, YouTube or any platform for your livelihood. What it means to own your content is that you have to know what your platform is, and what you get to publish, how you get to control it. What is a publishing schedule? And so for me, I get to not only just put a website out there, I actually get to grow with my website. What it means is, as I am transforming and changing and evolving as a content creator, as a creative entrepreneur, as a person in general, there are different things I'm interested in. There are different things I'm learning. I'm able to influence other people. My website is a reflection of that. In fact, in the past few years, not just the years of COVID, I actually got to update my websites more than once. Probably in the past 2 years or so, I updated my homepage, especially, a few times. And that was really important. So, for instance, a real example A year ago, I was still kind of fixated on Feisworld.com being my media platform. So I talk about my podcast, my YouTube channel, my documentary. And then I realized, you know what? I'm really missing the point here because if I'm a creative entrepreneur, which means this side of video content production, podcasting is part of my business, which they are, I should have that reflected on my website. So if you visit Feisworld.com today, you'll notice that I'm really speaking directly to content entrepreneurs as well as business owners. I may appear a little bit tired today because I was literally, installing floors, bamboo floors in my basement, like for the past couple of hours. And but going live was very important. So, that part is really important. On my website now, I tell people I help people and businesses grow and reach more leads through YouTube, podcasting, and Zoom. And Zoom has become a core component of my business. Speaking of which, starting in January next year, 2022, I will be launching with my producer a brand new course. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Zoom in 2022. And so my website gets to see and really surface these things that are really important to me and things that are current in my business, things I'm actively working on. You don't really get to choose that for your social media channel. So let's use a real world scenario. You're sitting at a coffee shop, you're mingling with some people, you're going to these holiday parties in a couple of weeks, and people are asking you, so what are you doing? Oh, that sounds interesting. How can I get in touch with you? So I've been on those situations where I can simply hand people a business card. I simply share my phone number or my website. There, they get to see everything. And more specifically, let's say if a brand reaches out to me, like we talked about yesterday, brand and sponsorship deals, if you want to take a look there, I get to tell my sponsors and brands to say, why don't you go to faceworld.com/sponsorship. You get to see how much I charge, how I work with brands. So I can easily direct people that way. Whereas I've been in parties where I really want to work with that photographer. And what ends up happening is, you always have very, weird names for social media channels, especially for Instagram, for instance. A lot of our own handles are so cryptic and it's just going to be hard to remember. Once people are there, you go, oh, the type of work I'm thinking about for you, the style I'm thinking about for you is this, not that. But you don't get to really control the order of which these images, videos are being shown to these people, right? So having your website is just super duper helpful. One thing I want to remind you, if you are creating content somewhere, including on Instagram, for instance, there is a simple plugin where actually it's a built-in feature for Squarespace where you can simply show a grid of all your latest Instagram posts. If you're a YouTuber like me or a podcaster, you're easily able to share your video as an embed a video on a blog page, or you can embed your audio player, iframe it from your podcast onto your website. It's very simple and helpful. And here's why you want to do that. I know it's a little bit late, it's labor, it is additional work we don't want to think about, but it's helpful because it helps your SEO. Right now, after I look at my traffic for the past 365 days coming, onto my YouTube channel, I was really surprised that besides YouTube search, YouTube recommendation, Feisworld.com is a third most powerful engine that has referred tons of views to my channel. My current YouTube channel gets about a million views or so. I think in the past couple of years, it's 2 to 3 million views, and but only less than 20,000 subscribers. So think about it that way, that your website can really serve you in a really positive way. So make sure you cross share your content on your website. I think the simplest way is to start a blog where your blog can simply mimic a video or audio embed, and you can say a few things about it. So if you're a podcaster, I do recommend that you consider show notes, number one, a quick bio of the person you're interviewing or about yourself, and also consider getting transcripts. There are a lot of places where you can get transcripts for free, like otter.ai, sonics.ai, and what else? Happy Scribe. So even if you have to pay for a bit of that, it's actually not very expensive at all. It's very affordable. Last time I checked, otter.ai still offers something like 600 minutes or so, or maybe a little less than that. I mean, that's plenty. Even if you're releasing 1 hour episode of podcast like 4 times a month, that's still sufficient. So that's what I want to say. And please let me know what you have on your mind, and please share your website maybe in the comments below. I'm not there to criticize that, but if you have any questions about how you can further utilize your website and to reach more people, let me know. I think it's been, we live in this social media era. I feel like we kind of lost in touch with websites, and we no longer utilize it the way that we should be. And so I hope you have fun, enjoy, and ask any questions about this episode of any of the previous ones. And tomorrow I'll be back to talk about email marketing. And it's so important for us to still focus on email marketing in conjunction with a website. It's actually a very natural extension to your website. And most people like myself will have a newsletter or give away something on the website in exchange for people's email address. And that's how I built my small but powerful tribe. So I hope you tune in tomorrow at the exact same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're noon PST to talk about email marketing. Maybe you're thinking about how you get started. Maybe you're thinking about what more you could do with your email list, with the group of people you have, how to segment them better. So how to create courses maybe. All right. So much love for this community. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.